Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Friday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Here at Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. The First Tee is expanding its footprint to include talented young golfers from Baldwin County and Alabama. The board of directors of the Greater Pensacola Junior Golf Association announced the expansion of the nonprofit's operations in conjunction with its rebranding as the First Tee Gulf Coast on Friday. Previously known as the First Tee of Northwest Florida, the nonprofit organization has operated locally since 1990, aiming to teach life skills through golf while advancing accessibility to the game. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Terrell Brooks Yarborough for the Milton Panthers. This young man has a 3.9 GPA in the classroom and is one of the best all-around athletes you will find. Terrell has both speed and major power, a very strong and well-put-together back. Running a 4.5 in the 40, his speed is impressive. He has elite field vision and hits the holes without hesitation. His rare combination of power and speed make him one of the best-looking running backs you will see in 2020. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1971, the Pittsburgh Pirates start what is believed to be the first all-black lineup, including several Latinos in MLB history, in a 10-7 win versus the Philadelphia Phillies. In 1973, in his first title defense, George Foreman retains his WBC and WBA heavyweight crowns when he knocks out Jose King Roman of Puerto Rico in round 1 in Tokyo, Japan. In 1984, Mississippi Valley State's Willie Totten passes for a Division I AA record 536 yards and 9 touchdowns in an 86-0 win versus Kentucky State. Jerry Rice catches 17 passes for 294 yards and 5 touchdowns and breaks his own Division I AA record for total yardage and pass receptions. In 1990, baseball outfielders Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. become the first father and son to play on the same team. The pair hit back-to-back singles in the first inning and both scored. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
Your voice, your vote. In our democracy, they matter and make our community and our country stronger. So make yours count. Get registered. Learn the issues. Know the candidates. And vote by or on November 3rd. Visit vote411.org for registration and election information. This message is furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Economic development, better schools, law enforcement, and public safety. Just a few of the issues that are on the minds of residents of Santa Rosa County. Twice a month, we take the time to recap the news events that shape and resolve the issues that affect our daily lives. Join us tonight for Focus on Santa Rosa, a 30-minute look back at the past 2 weeks of local news coverage by ESPN's sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. Focus on Santa Rosa, tonight at 8 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brillante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEVY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Welcome in to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Well, hopefully you're having a great Thursday here, getting through the week, almost a Friday, which means the weekend's right around the corner. And guess what? Well, got a lot to talk about today, as always. A little bit of time here. We got football coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. Hopefully, like I said, you're doing well today. Hopefully everybody's staying safe. Obviously, with what's going on with COVID, just continue to use caution. Remember, let's continue to do what got us to this point where cases seem to be trending down in a lot of places, not just our own. So that's always good news moving on. We still got a fight ahead of us, but you know what? We're taking it day by day, and we've done a great job here in our community. Look, speaking of our community, I want to thank our first responders and healthcare workers. Once again, what they do is amazing. These folks are out there on the front lines each and every day. We say this every day because it needs to be said regardless of whether there's COVID-19 or not. These folks are out there, out and about. I mean, hearing stories from them, and I have friends and family that are a part of both sides of the spectrum here. So some of the stories that I hear are tough, and I respect the heck out of them even more. And being a military town, we have so many military personnel that we love, we cherish all of our military, and we thank them for their service, but we also thank, of course, our first responders and healthcare workers. And it get highlighted during times like this. But, we thank them so much. And I know there's a lot of things going on in our country. We talk about it all the time. You can't ignore it. It's out there, unless you've been under a rock. I want to make it very clear, though. We will not let a few bad people, because there are evil people in this world. We will not let a few bad people. We won't group them together with everybody in this. And what I mean by that is because some people make mistakes. It's not everybody's fault. You can't, what I'm saying is we thank all of our first responders. We thank all of our police officers, all of our EMT personnel, firefighters, nurses, doctors. We thank those folks for their service. We really do. And now, not all of them do the right thing. The majority do. That's what I'm saying. Don't let a few bad eggs ruin the entire bunch here. So we want to make that very clear. We support you guys out there. We thank you guys for protecting us. And while we're thanking folks real quick here, grocery store employees, truck drivers, all the essential workers out there, thank you guys. It has been really tough. Sitting back this morning, just kind of thinking about everything that's gone on the past few months, it's been a whirlwind. And it's been slow, but at the same time, I look up and it's September already. We're getting ready for football. We're in a position where we're hopefully going to get it. Hopefully if people can follow protocols, and we'll get there. And it's just been a wild ride, but we thank all those folks because they've helped us get through a lot here. But you know what? I know we have a ton to get to today, but Coach, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, JP. Good to be with you. And as always, I join you in thanking all those people that you have appropriately thanked. And we have an awful lot of gratitude and thanks to those people. Wish we had enough time to fully convey what they do, what they've done for the community. But we can say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, too, by the way, we want to thank our sponsors. Look, the Levin Papantonio Law Firm, those folks, if you have any questions, need any kind of legal advice, give them a call. They can walk you through it. And they may not be the one for you. They can lead you in the right direction, though. These folks can help you. Before you go making a decision on your own or try to do some of these things on your own, call those folks up. They'll help you. They are awesome. And look, if you're from this area, you know Levin Papantonio. You know that law firm. Bob Tyler Toyota and Hill Kelly Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. both those guys, Bob Tyler and then Miles over there at Hill Kelly, they will take care of you. Let them know we sent you over there. Those are, look, once again, I say this because these are our sponsors, and these folks, they're the only reason we can bring this to you right here. We are so grateful for them, but they really do a great job over there. If you've never bought a car before, maybe you're looking new or used, whatever it may be, let them know. Let them know what you're looking for. They'll walk you through the process. They're not going to pressure you into a situation you don't want to be. I know that's the case, that a lot of people think all the car dealers are the same. It's not the case over there. And let them know that Talk Football with Coach K, that Coach K. Stevenson sent you over there. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. I do want to mention this one. This one, hey, look, I'll be honest with you, this is my favorite one right here. Coach, you know that. Being in there before, going in there and shooting, those guys are awesome. They walk you through it. If you need some some insight, maybe some gun safety, they can help you as well. Maybe you want to try a gun out before you shoot it, they can help you with that. They can walk you through everything you need to know before you go do it. So, once again, Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, let them know we sent you. May even give you a deal as well. So, Coach, look, here, today, South Alabama, Southern Miss, we got football. UAB, yes, UAB does take on Central Arkansas. I don't want to upset any Central Arkansas or UAB fans, but look, South Alabama, our team right down the road here, takes on Southern Miss over in Mississippi. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be on CBS Sports Network, I believe, at 8 o'clock. 7 days, we got 1 week until Houston and Kansas City. This time next week, we'll be getting ready for NFL, Coach. And 9 days until FSU takes on Georgia Tech, and 23 days until we get SEC football. Now, there is plenty of football to come before we get those 23 days. I'm going to make that very clear. So, Coach, like I said, we've got a ton to get to. Look, next week, by the way, Alex Scarborough, a reporter, college sports reporter for Alabama, all of college football, but he writes for ESPN.com. He'll join us. Tom Pelissero will join us, our reporter for the NFL, for NFL.com. He's been on the show plenty as well. And Joe Theismann will join us tomorrow. How about that? Former two-time Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl. Everybody loves Joe Theismann. Heck of an actor, by the way. Does a little bit of everything. He'll join us on the show tomorrow as well. Always fun to talk to Joe Theismann. But, Coach, jumping into this, obviously, look, big story. Broke yesterday. Jamie Newman decides he's going to opt out. Now, a lot of people were like, well, it's a little late. Now, this is purely what I have read from articles to message boards, Insight, whatever. This is just my pure speculation, Coach, when I say this. I think the Jamie Newman situation there was a lot of rumors going on. The JT Daniels, the quarterback transfer from USC, had not been cleared. He's not been cleared yet, but he's predicted to be cleared early next week at the latest. So with that being said, he's been practicing with the team. He's been out there throwing. A lot of people said, this guy looks good. This guy is probably going to be the starting quarterback. Now, Todd Monken likes him a lot. Obviously, we talked about it. He fits that system that Todd Monken's bringing in. Jamie Newman, look, this was pure speculation that this guy was going to be the starting quarterback from the beginning. That's what we've talked about. I don't understand the hype. I get he's a talented young man. But regardless, my speculation, Coach, from what I've heard, is Jamie Newman opted out and went ahead and go to the draft because he may not be the starting quarterback, and he realized that. So I'm not saying that's the case. I'm telling you what I've heard and what I speculate here. Speculation is pure speculation. But, Coach, when you look at this, though, I don't think this changes anything. I really don't for Georgia. And I think for a lot of Georgia fans, unless you just truly believe the hype, you still have a very talented quarterback room with JT Daniels, DeJuan Mathis, and Carson Beck, and Stetson Bennett among the scholarship options right there. These guys were all 4- and 5-star athletes, by the way. So, Coach, when you look at this whole situation, what are your thoughts on Jamie Newman opting out?
Well, I was never ever sold. I didn't even know who Jamie Newman was. Of course, coming from Wake Forest. He probably, I think you're exactly right. I think JT Daniels was taking that job. Very evident he was going to take it. And Newman opted out. If you're going to get drafted in the 6th or 7th round of the draft, you might want to go get ready for it, So he probably had to do that. Maybe the free agency he was looking at. But anyway, that was just an excuse to remove himself from a quarterback situation that was not going to be very appealing to him.
Yeah, I think, and look, everybody, ESPN, all these other people say, well, it's COVID concerns, and that might be the true. That might obviously play a role in it. I don't know. I'm not Jamie Newman. What I'm saying is, It's a little weird how he's all gung-ho until we're almost here getting ready, obviously a few weeks away to play. And that's when we start to see, look, guys who are going to be the starters, they start taking that role and taking over it. And with the rumors of JT Daniels going to be cleared here pretty soon, that's all I'm going to say. But for Georgia fans, once again, you're in good hands. Todd Monken's going to do a good job. JT Daniels is a stud of a quarterback. Look, he was injured. Playing at USC, by the way, not the greatest situation. Let's just call it what it was. He is with a team right now, boy, you're talking about that is just phenomenal. Now, they have a lot of, guys in new positions when you talk about it. You did lose Dominic Blaylock at the wide receiver position, but you still have George Pickens and Demetrius Robertson. You still got a good offensive line. Even though it's a new offensive line, they're inexperienced. It's still going to be a good look. You got a bunch of 5 stars up front. You got Trey McKitty, the transfer from Florida State, coming over as well, who's going to be phenomenal. We know how tight ends, how good they are. Zamir White and those guys at running back, they're going to be just fine. The defense is going to be phenomenal and will allow the offense to grow and to get that experience they need. They just got to be ready for Florida. And for Florida, once again, Florida's ready to roll anyway. But, Coach, look, I'm going to talk about this. Obviously, the other big story that broke yesterday. Now, Leonard Fournette was basically released by the Jags. A lot of people were surprised. A lot of people weren't. The Bucs. How about this? Now, Bruce Arians, it's funny how he works. Bruce Arians, when this happened, he was like, look, we like the team we got now, but, sure, we'll take a look at him. And then all of a sudden, now they've signed him. So they signed him to a 1-year, $2 million contract that could bump up to $3.5 million with incentives. Look, a lot of people, Coach, including myself, I'm gonna deflect this over to you. I'm gonna send and get your take on this. Look, you know Bruce Arians a little bit better. You know the game way better, coaching and playing in the NFL. I don't know if Leonard Fournette is a good fit for the Bucs, but Coach, change my mind on this. What do you think?
Well, I think this is very unusual. I think that there are probably only 1 or 2 places that he could have gone and made a football team, really, without causing a disruption. I think he's a potential problem there. He won't be in Tampa, and I'll tell you why. Arians does a pretty good job of laying down the rules and regulations. But that football team is full of leaders and enthused football players right now. They know they've got a chance to go all the way, and they're not going to let some guy come in and disrupt their locker room and take it away from them. He's got to be enthused himself. I mean, only an idiot would not understand the opportunity he's got. Now, you look at their running back room. This does kind of round out the running back room the way you'd like to think about it if you were going into a potential championship-type season. One, Ronald Jones is a good back. He's more of an all-purpose back and will be a good back this season. Fournette gives them that Ingram, Kamara, New Orleans Saints-style running tandem that they had over there when they had Ingram and Kamara. The Fournette is that inside the tackle type runner, the type guy. He can bounce it and get outside. He's got speed, not great speed. Jones has got better speed, and so does Vaughn, the young kid. But he gives them a certain power type back that will be very, very good for them, especially in tight ball games where they get ahead. And the old axiom, I don't totally believe this or subscribe to it, but the old axiom is you throw the ball to score and you run the ball to win games, meaning that you do have to throw the football that usually gets to have enough scoring to win an NFL game. But when you get ahead, or it's in the fourth quarter, or you've got to run that clock out of control the football so that the other team doesn't get it, you have to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to do it inside. You can't do it outside. So he gives them that piece that I don't think they really had, JP. I don't think they had without him. So chalk that one up to maybe a good addition to the football team. Now, McCoy, I think, is interesting because he's an older guy. He's not going to give you the speed or the juke like he used to be able to do. But what he can do is he's smart and he's experienced, and he will be a tremendous advantage to them in certain passing situations, I think, for protection. He's probably going to be like a coach on the field when it comes to pass protection for the back. So that's a piece of that running back room that is absolutely a necessity. So you put it all together. I think that with Vaughn as just an occasional change of pace and to keep people fresh, I think they've got a pretty strong running back room, and I think they'll keep it under wraps for the whole season.
All right, Coach, you convinced me. I understand. I completely see what you're talking about. And look, this Tampa Bay team, one thing that needs to be said is this is a team that had a couple of veterans, but you look at this team now, and they have veterans exactly in just about every single position they need on the field anywhere. I mean, on the field, off the field, whatever it is. When you talk about this running back room, you're right. Ronald Jones, by the way, now he didn't fit the style of offense with Jameis Winston and what they were trying to do, but Brady coming in, the way that they play, the way that they're going to play with the weapons around them, this is a well-rounded offensive football team. The only question mark you can look at is say, well, what about the offensive line? It's still not very good. It's a lot better. And why? Well, getting obviously the young man out of Iowa, that's a tremendous step forward. Now, these guys are going to be better for one. They have Tom Brady there. Now, you're talking about, Coach, you've said a coach on the field, a guy that can help you call out different looks and whatever it may be, things that you're going to need help on, things that they didn't have before with a guy like Jameis Winston. Now you've got Ronald Jones, who fits. I've said before, I like Ronald Jones because he fits that system and what they will try to do. LaShawn McCoy adds, once again, a veteran there, a veteran that has won some big football games and been a big spot, adds depth. Keyshawn Vaughn, the young man out of Vanderbilt, I love him because now he's got an opportunity where not a ton is going to be expected out of him. They're going to let him play some special teams as well. But this is a guy that is going to be very talented, that adds a little spark. When you get in the fourth quarter, you get late in the third, guys need a break. You come in here, this kid can flat out play, and I think he's going to fit very well. Now, adding Leonard Fournette, you're right. I mean, this is an Ingram-Kamara type deal here. You got Leonard Fournette, who, by the way, can catch some passes out of the backfield, over 400 yards last year. Now, once again, he's not going to have to be a bell cow. So, look, it's going to help the whole injury thing that's going on there with him. Hopefully he can stay healthy. But once again, this team just got so much better. And for Saints fans, look, you're still good, Saints, but this is just getting tougher and tougher. And you know what? Like I said, Coach, you convinced me. This is a big move. And by the way, like I said, they signed him for $2 million. Now, Fournette was owed over $4 million by the Jags. And nobody picked him up on waivers because they didn't want to pay him that, even though people thought that whenever somebody picked him up, they were going to pay him at least $4 million. So the Jags got a steal, a absolute steal for a guy right now, especially for what they're building. And Tampa Bay is in win-now mode. If you don't believe that, then get out from under your rock. That's all I'm going to say. But, Coach, we're going to go to a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about a move for the Patriots releasing a wide receiver that, well, maybe didn't spend too much time with the team. And we'll talk about Jadeveon Clowney. He still hasn't signed. We're a week away from the first game of the opening season here for the NFL, and he is still not signed. And we'll talk about LSU football. Where do we see them after the debacle that has been this offseason for the National Championship Tigers? All that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Hey, what's up? Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, we're into August, that first time that we start to feel the flow for football season.
Foosball.
Like getting ready to run out of the tunnel to a song like Enter Sandman. Might be a little different this year. Probably no smoke, social distance away from the people, as you might get cheered on by virtual fans.
You can do it!
But overall, we're excited, and we'll keep you posted with the latest updates from high school, college, and the NFL. Join myself, Chad Brillante, and JP right here on the Sports Drive, 5 to 7 on ESPN Pensacola.
Hey, here's a bit of wisdom from your Uncle Cooper. Tires exist on a spectrum. On one end, you got too much tire. On the other, you don't get enough. Both ends are rip-offs. You're either paying for more than you need or needing more even after you pay. So if you want a tire that costs what tires should cost and does what tires should do, go mwah, right for the sweet spot. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like Company Pages, where you can get people excited about working for you. And we give you this toy monkey, which will bang its cymbals when the right resume appears. Okay, there is no monkey.
I said there is no monkey!
But Company Pages, for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo to try Company Pages for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, this is Jay Williams. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Jumping back into it, Coach, some NFL news. The Patriots release wide receiver Mohamed Sanu, the young man they brought over in October from Atlanta last year to help out that receiving core. It never really worked out. It never got on the same page. And remember, this is how it goes when you go to play for the Patriots. It's not just, all right, here you go. Yeah, you're talented over there. You're going to fit over here. This is a guy that was inconsistent with the Falcons at times, obviously, and it's tough to play for the Patriots. But it never worked out. Remember, there's a lot more football to be learned when you come play for the Patriots. Make that very clear. He was due to earn $6.5 million this season, which is a high figure based on his role as a number 4 option on the team. And he doesn't contribute on special teams, and we know how Belichick loves that. But when you look at this, Coach, not a big surprise here. Never really worked out, but this leaves them with Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry, and Damiere Byrd, along with Jacoby Myers. So not exactly the receiving core that is going to blow you away. There's a lot, by the way. Julian Edelman, okay, let me make this clear when I say this. Julian Edelman is a stud, and he has been a stud for many years, and him and Tom, without him last year, him and Tom would have been a rough year for the Patriots as well. Even though as good as that defense was, not a ton of offense outside of those guys, as Edelman had over 1,200 yards. So, Coach, with Mohamed Sanu being released, I don't think is a big surprise. But where in the world do you go right here if you're this receiving core? I mean, look, this is Belichick. That's all we pretty much need to say. But does this move hurt the Patriots anymore and hurt that depth at the wide receiver position?
No, Sanu was just a stopgap replacement last year. As we said, they had nobody. And Sanu was a part of that group of nobodies. He was not a quality receiver. They had to go with anybody younger and hopefully improve as they went along because Sanu had reached the end of the line. I've said before, mentioned before, that it's very easy to see with receivers, probably the easiest position to see the fall off the cliff type. It's sad to see, but you can see them immediately go downhill. And I think Sununu had reached that in Atlanta. They obviously cut him in Atlanta, I think. So he couldn't compete there anymore. And he was a stopgap in New England. I like the kid. I mean, I have no problem with him. It's just that he'd reached the end of the line as far as football was concerned. I'm sure he wanted one more year out of it, that $6 million, but I don't know where he would go anywhere right now in the National Football League and play for anybody.
Yeah, I think that's the $6.5 million. I don't know anybody that's going to pay him that right now. It's look, and Sanu has shown that he can play some football. Like you mentioned, he's a talented young man, but the inconsistency and what happened with Atlanta when he came over, a lot of people said, you know what, now he's going to get his fresh start. Look, the Patriots pick up a lot of guys like that, and some of them work, some of them don't. Because, once again, it is tough to go play for Belichick in New England. But if you can play for him, boy, you're playing for one of the best. So, with that being –
JP?
Yes, sir.
JP, I think let me go right to the bottom line on this. I think Sanu had nothing to do with his football savvy and his ability to play the game. He just couldn't do it physically anymore. He had no speed left in his legs. He had no shape or move, all the things physically you have to be able to do to beat coverages in the National Football League. And he had it no more. He had fallen off the cliff. That's what happened to Sanu. It wasn't because of his inability to pick up the system or learn or whatever. I don't think it had anything to do with that. Just that he had reached the end of the line physically.
Well, fair enough. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody picks him up. I'm sure somebody will give him a shot, whether it'll work out or not. Hey, I hope the best for Sanu. But Coach, moving on here, a guy that looked. Speaking of a former Patriot, the Seahawks are giving Josh Gordon another chance, and he wants to see if he could improve their play on the field. Obviously, that Gordon's agent were confirmed the veteran wide receiver re-signed with Seattle. Well, this morning, it's a one-year deal that can surpass $1 million with incentives. But first, Gordon has to be reinstated. Now, the NFL suspended him indefinitely last December for violating the NFL policies on performance-enhancing substances and substance of abuse. It was his fifth suspension in 8 years and arrived just as the Seahawks were pushing to win the NFC West and perhaps more. Who knows what would have happened. But with that being said, Coach, the 29-year-old, look, we know, by the way, Josh Gordon is a heck of a football player. He really is. Now, he's battled obviously, mental health and substance abuse. But I think since 2012 or 2013, I mean, he hasn't been on the field for a full season. This is look, when he's on the field, he has 17.2 yards per catch average. I mean, he's a phenomenal receiver, but it's a matter of can he beat the demons that he's fighting, with the mental health. And I've had a friend of mine that passed away that was dealing with mental health and substance abuse. It's not a fun battle. And when watching the struggles that he was going through, it's tough. And I'm not going to say for a lot of people, like, yeah, he's making all this money. Well, you know what? But each individual is still a human being out there. So there are still things like this. But, Coach, I hope the best for him. But this just does not – I don't know. I mean, hey, look, it's great he's getting another opportunity. But do you see it working out with the Seahawks?
I don't. He might have his best chance of sticking around there, but I really don't see it working out. I think the young man has got a problem that it's going to take all this time to even begin to deal with it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's stuff like this is going to be tough, and then trying to play football and everything. Look, I hope the best for him. Hopefully it can work out, but. Coach, look, talking about another young man that has not been signed yet, you talk about a guy who, we hate the word potential, but he's gone out there and when he's played full-fledged, just all out, he's been a good player, but he's been injured. Sometimes he takes plays off. It's been a problem. Jadeveon Clowney. Now, this guy is still not signed, And a lot of people are like, well, why? Well, the reports have come out that, look, they believe within the next 48 hours he will either most likely sign with the Tennessee Titans or the Seattle Seahawks. But here's the problem. Now, the Titans have been aggravated as well as the Seahawks have been because they wanted to bring him in for a physical. Now, he hasn't really returned calls from anybody. He's been a little quiet. Now, a lot of people believe he's a little aggravated because not a whole lot of people have come after him. The Browns, by the way, offered him a contract between $17 and $18 million over 1, 2, or 3 years. That was pretty much his most flexible offer by a considerable margin. Now, remember Yannick Ngakoue signing with the Vikings. They paid him about $12 million, and this is a guy that he's been a baller since he stepped on the field. He's been really good, a high motor, a guy that just always plays, doesn't get hurt, things like that, and a lot of people like him. Guy like Jadeveon Clowney, it's the name. I think it's more the name that gets you, and then you realize, wait a minute, there's a lot of people that have played a lot better than he has. Now, he can be dominant. We've seen that when he wants to be, but there's a lot of question marks with his work ethic and everything like that. And, Coach, look, they said, by the way, once again, within 48 hours they believe a deal is going to be done, whether it's the Tennessee Titans or the Seattle Seahawks. But when you look at Jadeveon Clowney right now, for $17 or $18 million, after you just saw a guy and Yannick Ngakoue go for $12 million, are you willing to pay Jadeveon Clowney that kind of money?
I wouldn't be willing to pay too much at all. I'll be honest with you. There's a certain market value for him, and he's going to have to realize that's it. Nobody's going to pay him over what the market value is, and his market value has decreased exponentially here as he has handled himself from the standpoint of being the type player that you want on your football team. He's talented, but he's a great example of why I hate the word potential. He's got all the potential in the world, but how often do you see it? And he's I think he's basically got the chance to be a coach killer. He certainly does not help your football team in the locker room. In fact, can be a detriment. The two teams they're talking about here and maybe signing with are both familiar with him. The Seattle Seahawks obviously are familiar with him, and the head coach at Tennessee was also the defensive coordinator at Houston when he had him at Houston. So they know what they're getting from a personality standpoint. They also know what they're getting from a physical ability standpoint. So they like that. They feel like maybe there's a switch they can turn on and keep him going. But you got to be careful with a guy like that. And I certainly wouldn't pay him. Your question was, would I pay him? I guess you're referring to $17-18 million. I don't think he's he's not in the range of 3 or 4 of the lesser paid pass rushers or defensive linemen down on the National Football League.
Yeah, there's so much question when you're going to pay a guy $17 to $18 million. You better be sure a couple things. One, he is going to be on the field the majority of the time. He's going to give you high effort every single snap out there, obviously. And then it's a guy that's going to be, look, for one, not be a problem in the locker room, and two, not going to have to go through the injury bug. Now, some injuries you can't help, obviously, but this is a guy that's been bitten by injury quite a bit. He just come off, the core surgery, by the way, and that's why teams want to bring him in for a physical, and yet he's not answering phone calls. A lot of red flags to me, but you know what? Nonetheless, I'm not going to speak on whether I believe or I want the Titans to sign him or not. I'm just going to stay away from that. But when we come back, Coach, I got to take a quick break here. Do want to mention LSU. An interesting article in 247 Sports come out about LSU. We'll talk about that and what they've had to go through this offseason and talking about each NFL team's predicted record here. We'll see if we agree or disagree division by division. All that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Week 1 of the football season is about to kick off, and DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is putting you in the center of the action. Download the top-rated DraftKings app and use code GREENIE to get a free shot at $1 million top prize. And for a limited time, get your share of $100 million in prizes once you enter DraftKings' free Survivor Pool. That's code GREENIE, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Other terms and conditions and eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to HomeAdvisor's approval and terms. Valid for new HomeAdvisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 U.S. only.
Hiring is challenging, especially with everything else you have to consider today. But there's one place you can go where hiring is simple, fast, and smart. That place is ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, to try ZipRecruiter for free, my listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/max. That's ZipRecruiter.com/MAX. ZipRecruiter.com/max. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Looking for a destination for all your lunchtime cravings? At 200 South, home to Graffiti Pizza, Taco Agave, and World of Beer, they've crafted the perfect lunch menu options for you beginning every day at 11. With newly updated menu options, there's something delicious to satisfy every lunchtime craving. From handcrafted pizzas to street tacos, pub burgers, and more. Head to 200 South in downtown Pensacola for lunch today. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram for daily menu features and upcoming events.
Hi, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Appreciate you guys tuning in with us. Coach, LSU, look, the Tigers come off an unbelievable season, maybe the best season ever when you look at that team and the way they played and how they dominated people and just the way that they dominated people with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow may have the best single season ever in the history of college football. It's hard to say no one or never, but we never may see that again. So when we look at this in LSU, obviously Joe Burrow, first-round pick right there, going first overall to the Bengals. Seems that he's going to have quite a season as well. But this LSU team lost 16 guys overall, whether it was to the draft or free agency, whatever, guys getting signed that didn't get drafted. But now they've had some people opt out. They've had 4 players right now opt out that were starters. Coach, that leaves us to about 20 people they've lost off that team from last year. Now, that being said, we talk about the same thing with Georgia. This team's recruited very well. Edo, you hate it because finally Edo gets off the schneid there, wins a national championship. We all know how passionate they are over in Death Valley and LSU. Anywhere you go in Louisiana. Well, look, when they have to, typically we see governors make health protocols and do these videos and things like this to inform people. They get Edo, and that tells you all you need to know about Louisiana and how serious they take their football. So, Coach, when you look at this team, though, it's interesting because, look, an article on 247 Sports came out and said, will LSU finish closer to 8-2 or 4-6? Now, Obviously, Miles Brennan comes in, a very talented quarterback, a junior. They get Eric Gilbert, the 5-star tight end there, freshman coming in, who's going to help them tremendously. The running back room, they still have, obviously, plenty of running backs, not as good as a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but they have a multitude of sophomore backs back there. Racey McMath comes back. And by the way, Racey McMath and Terrace Marshall are both 6'3", so they've got some big, talented receivers out there still. So don't count them out. But it's going to be tough, Coach. When you hear, will LSU finish closer to 8-2 or 4-6? What are you going to go with?
Well, good question. I think they're probably going to be like they got too much talent to get beat consistently. So I would say they're going to be like a 6-4, maybe if they have a great year, 7-3 team. But I'd say more like a 6-4, 7-3 team.
Yeah, I would agree. 7-3 at best. I mean, you look at the LSU in Florida, you look at against Alabama and Auburn and all those schools. It's going to be tough regardless. And by the way, opening up against Mississippi State week 1 is going to be tough for them as well. It's an all SEC schedule. It changes things a little bit, but you're right. This is a very talented football team. So if you're an LSU fan, look, you won a national championship, savor it. You're still going to have a good team. Just hang on. You won't have the same year you had last year. Coach, I want to jump over you.
There are two things about that that are kind of interesting, JP. One is that opening game against Mississippi State is going to be very dicey for them because they're going to see something that they haven't really seen before. Now, I will say this. They've got a better shot having this much time to work on it and watch Washington State offense, and they've got a better chance of knowing a little bit about what they're going to see rather than during the season being silenced in between running teams where they haven't had a chance to look at it. But it's still going to be dicey because those kids, when you get into real game situations with that ball up in the air, those receivers, running past you is going to be a little difficult. By the way, Joe Burrow, speaking of LSU, a word I'm getting is that they are really, really high on Joe Burrow. They think that he's gone much above and beyond anything they could have hoped for so far. Now, they haven't played a game, obviously, but as far as the practice situations, scrimmages, how he's handling everything, leadership ability, everything involved with the quarterback position, he's gone above and beyond what they would have expected. But kind of interesting and would be expected to some extent on my part, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting because here's the thing. Joe Burrow has some weapons over there. Now, a lot of people say, well, he's going to go through growing pains. Here's the thing. I think where Joe Burrow proved last year is he can do whatever you need him to do. When you get compared to Tom Brady, even though Joe Burrow was like, please don't compare me to Tom Brady because I just want to be myself and I don't earn that. I haven't earned that yet. And he's a humble kid. Obviously, he's a good kid. You talk about coming from a hometown that is has a lot of poverty going on. There's a lot of issues that he takes to heart, and it means a lot when guys outside of football. I think it does. When you look at a guy like Drew Brees, that's why I think so highly of Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a fantastic football player, but how is the guy off the field, as a human being and what he's done for that place in New Orleans. But for Joe Burrow, Coach, look, I agree. I've heard nothing but great things. I think it's going to be really fun to watch him in that division. He's going to be playing some really good defenses, but he's got some weapons around him. You just can't help but root for a guy like Joe Burrow. Just his story. If you don't know his story, look it up. We don't have time to talk about it here. His story is phenomenal from high school to college to now in the pros. It is absolutely awesome. But, Coach, speaking of NFL here, jumping back into this, look, SI came out with their season record predictions for each team in each division. So I want to do a couple divisions here. We'll go to break, and then we'll finish up on this because this is interesting. Now, in the AFC East, obviously with New England, Miami, Buffalo, and the New York Jets over there, a lot of people have picked Buffalo to win it. Now, this prediction right here has the New England Patriots at 10-6, the Miami Dolphins at 8-8, the Buffalo Bills at 7-9, and the New York Jets at 6-10. Coach, What do you think about those predictions right there?
I don't agree with them, quite honestly. I think that there's a good chance, a very good chance, that New England could win it again. It's going to be tough between them and Buffalo. I think a toss-up there. Both maybe winning 10 games. I think it could be that close. Both maybe 10 or 11 games at most in there. And then you've got the Miami Dolphins, I think, coming third, and maybe winning 7 or 8, 6, 7, 8 right in there. So maybe 7 or 8 ball games this year. And then of course the Jets. It's still going to be tough. They have not helped themselves enough to be a competitor, or at least a contender for the division championship.
Yeah, that's look. I agree with you. I think when you look at New England, anybody that counts them out, I laugh, regardless of what's going on with that team right now. The Bills are very intriguing. This is a team that, in all honesty, with Sean McDermott, what he's been able to do has been phenomenal. But these guys should be competing for that division again. They were last year. Remember, it's tough. The Dolphins, we'll see. The Dolphins are a work in progress, and the Jets, I'm not even going to comment on that. I have no idea. It's the Jets. That's all I'm going to say, and Jets fans would agree. But, Coach, one more division here real quick. The AFC North. Now, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals right here. Now, the Bengals with Cincinnati, you're talking about Joe Burrow, they're predicted to be 2-14. I don't know if that'll be true, but we'll see. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 13-3 at the top of the division. The Baltimore Ravens, 12-4, and the Cleveland Browns, 9-7. Coach, we know it's a good division here. I think we both talked about this. I think we both said that we like the Steelers to win that division. As long as Big Ben can stay healthy. I really like that defense. That defense played phenomenal, and they went 8-8 last year with no offense. That's why I think Big Ben can be the difference maker in all this. Coach, how do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I agree with. I think Pittsburgh, if Roethlisberger stays healthy, I think they've got a real good shot to win it. I don't think they're going to win 13 games, so I think it's going to be more or less right around 11. 10 or 11 will win it. Baltimore, I think they're going to be a 9 or 10 win. Be close, but 9 or 10 wins for them. They'll come in second. And listen, Cleveland is a good football team. I think they're going to be better. But you're still talking about they'll be very fortunate to get 8 wins, 8, 9 wins. It's going to be a close division. It really is. And Cincinnati's going to be better than people think. They're not nearly ready yet because they don't have the overall talent level or the depth, and they've really got to do a lot of work with their offensive line. So they're not ready, but if they can get they're going to win more. They're going to win more than 2 ball games. I think they'll win maybe 4, possibly 5 games this year.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. 4 or 5 games where I see them. And look, best case scenario, I think it's 5, maybe 6. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that team? That team has some talent, and it's struggled in years past, but they still have many holes they got to fix in that team. But if you're a Bengals fan, you're moving in the right direction, and that's positive at this point. But Coach, got to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish breaking down the records here for these divisions from Sports Illustrated. Really interesting. We'll come back to the AFC South. All that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
As a fashion designer, Zoe is always looking for inspiration. In Spain, she stumbled upon the world's greatest tomato fighter, which shaped her new line, and her love for Moe's freshly made seasonal salsas. At Moe's, we know everyone is original, so we offer over 20 fresh ingredients to make burritos and other creations as unique as you. Welcome to Moe's! Find your nearest location at Moe's.com.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, treat her to a gift card from Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Follow Stillwater's on Facebook or Instagram to enter contests and win great prizes. Or visit swmedspa.com.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Getting closer and closer to the weekend, and we have some football tonight, by the way. South Alabama takes on Southern Miss on CBS Sports Network. Of course, South Alabama right down the road. Both teams not too far. Hattiesburg for Southern Miss, so it's going to be a good football game. By the way, Southern Miss is a 16-point favorite. But, hey, for South, Steve Campbell, he's from this area. We hope the best for him. But anyway, Coach, jumping back into this in the divisions, in the NFL. Now, we talked about a couple of the other ones. When you look at the AFC South, this is intriguing for me, obviously. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I'm finally truly proud to say it, but hey, it is what it is. The Titans right now, they have them 10-6 is their prediction. The Houston Texans at 9-7, the Indianapolis Colts at 7-9, and the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-15. I will say this. I probably agree with the Jags, and I hope to agree with the Tennessee Titans. But, Coach, the Texans and the Colts, I completely disagree with. What say you?
Yeah, 2 or 3 things. We can make bold predictions. I guess we'll do this again. But I do have to a bold prediction. 2 of them.
Don't do it to me, Coach. Don't do it to me.
One, I'm going to go back and say that I really believe that Cleveland has a good chance of overtaking Baltimore in that division we just finished and come in second behind Pittsburgh. Now back to this, the AFC South. I like the Colts. I think the Colts are a heck of a football team, and I think you're going to see another bold prediction. Is you may see Phillip Rivers having one of his most productive years. They have they're talented everywhere that you look, JP. They've got an outstanding offensive line, which is huge. And it's huge for Rivers because he gets back quick and gets rid of the ball quick. And they can give him time and give him a little running game along with it. He's going to be extremely efficient as a quarterback. I really like the Colts. I think they're better. They're going to be better defensively. Offensively, they can play with pretty much anybody. I think your Titans, they are going to be right in the mix. They'll be number 2. It'll be a close battle between them and the Colts. And I can go into a number of reasons where we have time for liking the Titans. There are a number of reasons for liking them. I think, obviously, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Jags. And Houston, I think Houston comes in third. I think they maybe win 7 or 8 ball games.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to do it to me, Coach. I knew you're going to bring me the bad news. No, it's look, we've talked about that. The Colts this year, this offseason has been phenomenal for them. Look, getting Michael Pittman Jr. at that wide receiver position, getting Phillip Rivers, you've got that veteran that can open it up a little bit. That offensive line is the best in the NFL. Paris Campbell is now healthy. This young man has Tyreek Hill speed, and T.Y. Hilton now has some help. I mean, outside of that, obviously in the tight end position, you got Jack Doyle. And then, by the way, your defense, your running backs, you can't forget those, Marlon Mack and then Jonathan Taylor, the young man out of Wisconsin. But this defense is really good, a good young defense led by Darius Leonard. So it's going – they got DeForest Buckner, by the way. That doesn't hurt ever when you get DeForest Buckner on your defensive line. So it's a team that has revamped. And, boy, they were close last year. They needed a quarterback, and they probably would have made the playoffs. But it is what it is. This team is ready to go, and I'm worried. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a guy that's going to beat my chest and say, oh, the Titans are fine. Titans will be okay, but you still got a lot more competition this year. But AFC West, Coach, few minutes here. Kansas City Chiefs, 10-6. That seems a little low to me. LA Chargers, 9-7. Denver Broncos, 5-11. Wow. And the Las Vegas Raiders, 5-11. Coach, the AFC West is a really good division here. Do you agree with Kansas City Chiefs 10-6, the Chargers 9-7, the Broncos 5-11, and the Raiders 5-11?
Well, that may seem a little low for Kansas City, but remember this: you're going to have everybody in the league shooting at them, and everybody's had a long time to get ready for them and to combine conversations between teams and exchange notes on them, and believe me, I know how that goes. So it's not going to be easy just to walk through there and get back to the Super Bowl. So that may not be too far off, 10-6, 11-5, maybe. I like this Denver football team. I think they're coming together more. I hear about them, the more I see from their training camp. I like Locke, the quarterback. I think they really helped themselves with the receiver position. They're not a bad defense now. They still got some people who can rush the passer and got prime pass rushers, and they're not bad defensively. So I kind of like Denver in there. Second, maybe the Chargers. Third, I'm not as convinced that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback that can take them to the promised land. Maybe third there, and that's pretty much the way I have them lined up. I really think it's going to be kind of difficult for them there.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we both are high on the Broncos. I like Drew Lock as well. By the way, Elway keeps talking about he reminds him of himself. Well, that's not a bad thing at all. But, hey, look, once again, they finally found a quarterback that they actually are starting to build around, and that's what they've done in this draft, adding guys like Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. They got Lloyd Cushenberry, by the way, on that deep or offensive line from LSU in this national championship team. And the defense, they picked up Jarrell Casey from the Titans, that big pass rusher, which only makes it even better. You talking about Bradley Chubb and Von Miller right there at the linebacker position. They went and got A.J. Bouye from Jacksonville. They got Kareem Jackson from Houston. Justin Simmons is a phenomenal safety, all-pro safety. I mean, probably one of the best in the game. This team is ready, and I agree with you. Look, Kansas City's going to be tough to beat, but I will say this. I think for second place, I would give it to Denver there. I'm not buying the Raiders either. I'm not. We'll see. And when you're talking about Marcus Mariota's, you love what he's done, and then he goes out and just doesn't play very well in practice. That's all I need to know. But anyway, Coach, you know what that sound means? It's time for us to go. We didn't get to everything we wanted to, but you know what? We'll finish it on up tomorrow, but it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend.
You bet. Enjoyed it. Look forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely. Remember, everybody, Joe Theismann will join us tomorrow on the show. And as for that, we'll be back same time talking some football with you right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brillante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEVY, Milton, Pensacola.
The Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio, ESPN News, the ESPN app, and SiriusXM Channel 80, and your smart speaker. You can reach us at 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Max Kellerman Show is presented by Progressive Insurance. But now it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. There's a lot to get into today. Including the refs ruining the end of that game. The end of the Bucks and the Heat. Including James Harden saving his reputation. Going to get that into that in a second. Including Chris Paul. Another heroic series, but another early playoff round exit. Does he get to slide, reputation-wise? We're going to get into it. Including Kirk Cousins. Did he put his foot in his mouth? Does he have explaining to do? He later did clarify about how if he gets COVID and dies, he dies. There's a lot to get into today.